This is Charter Local Edition, and I'm Keira Bresnahan. We're at the Club 20 Fall Meetings in beautiful Grand Junction, Colorado. And I'm joined now by Senator Ray Scott from District 7, Mesa County's district. So nice to see you today.
Nice to see you. How are you doing?
Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
You have a beautiful county that you represent.
Yes, I do.
But struggling a little bit right now, maybe with the economy and then jobs from the oil and natural gas industry.
Yes, we are. Yeah, and that's something we're working on very hard to try to turn around. Of course, we are unfortunate in a way because we have so much public land around us, which brings the federal government into play. And as we all know, the federal government has been very instrumental in keeping us from drilling on public lands. If we're like North Dakota, for an example, or even eastern Colorado, where there's a lot of private land, the drilling is still going on. It's not as robust as it was, but it's still going on. And probably the more critical thing for the people in the valley is that it's jobs, of course. Each rig employs somewhere around 150 folks.
Right.
And the severance taxes that come from that. And we're starting to see a lot of folks that are realizing that that's what pays for hospitals, that's what pays for schools, that's what pays for roads and bridges. And I think as that message gets out there, more and more people are understanding that how important the oil and gas industry is to Colorado.
Right. There's no drilling right in Mesa County, but it is definitely the bedroom community to Western Colorado oil and gas. Now, one of the other things that's maybe hindering it is the state's regulations against it.
Well, we are the most regulated state in the country. I don't know if people know that or not, but we are. Our oil and gas folks do things, beyond the scope of what they need to, and the regulations even that are in place. But it does hamper that ability to drill. I think a lot of people need to understand that we're in competition with other places in the country, just like a business. So Colorado has to compete with Texas and Oklahoma and Alaska and all these other states. And wherever it's the least expensive for the operators to work, that's where they're going to go.
So is the answer to try to reduce these regulations? There's always environmentalists that are coming into the state trying to add more regulations to the industry.
I think that they need to be looked at. I think they've gone too far in certain areas. Anything that gets overregulated can then be strangled, and that's basically what's happened here. Are all the regulations bad? Absolutely not. And the industry, surprisingly enough, is more interested in safety in some cases than some states are. There are some regulations that we should take a look at and take a look at changing those or rolling those back.
Now, the industry is still doing well on the Front Range portion of the state. It's more of Western Colorado. What do we need to do in this part of the state to get the companies back here?
Well, I think one huge thing we can do is get this Ruby pipeline program underway with Jordan Cove up in Oregon. As a lot of folks know, Tokyo Gas has written a contract for a massive amount of that production of natural gas. Again, it's a federal problem. We're waiting for approval of that pipeline and that Jordan Cove project in Coos Bay, Oregon. And once that happens, that literally means thousands of jobs. When you can move that much natural gas to other countries as an export, that's an incredible thing for the economy. And the USGS came out a few months back, and we now understand we have over 100 trillion cubic feet of natural gas just in the basins where we live. So we are in a wonderful position to just expand the economy and also help the national economy.
There is so much natural gas here, but one of the arguments from people is this side of the state always puts all their eggs in one basket, and that is oil and natural gas. Those are the jobs that pay well over here. What can we do in the interim until natural gas comes back or until this Jordan Cove project, which might be 4 to 5 years away, comes through?
Diversification is always important. We have a program that I'm proud to have sponsored the bill for the Jumpstart Colorado program, which is working in Mesa County, much like the New York program and the Texas program, where we waive some taxes and help them get started. But diversification is a huge issue. We have to make sure our transportation things are in line. Our airport has cheap rates so people can travel, which is a challenge right now for us. We have to make sure that people know who we are. And again, it's a competitive thing. There's an old saying, you have to give up what you've got to get what you want. And I think cities and counties are really realizing that now, that they have to step up to the plate to compete against Oklahoma City or Dallas, Texas, to get some of the things that we want.
And in some of the rural areas of this community, technology is key in wiring, and that would lead us to the need for rural broadband.
I totally agree with that. It's kind of interesting how it's changed over the years. 5 to 10 years ago, you didn't expect to have internet. It's something that was an extra that you could just say, gosh, I would like to have the internet, so we all had dial-up AOL or something.
Right.
But now it's almost become a utility, much like sewer, water, gas that comes to our homes now. So people have grown to expect that. So we have to start thinking a little bit differently about broadband. One of the things I'm going to work on very hard this next year is deregulating the company here, which is CenturyLink, and get the markets opened up so it's deregulated. Let the markets figure it out, and they will.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us.
You're
This is
welcome.
Senator Ray Scott from District 7, and you're watching Charter Local Edition. I'm Keira Bresnahan.